Hi everyone, this is Yolanda with Medical Courier Plus. And what I do is I share information on how you can become a medical courier, what the basics are, what your requirements are, where to go get them, and how to start working as a medical courier. So, first of all, let's define medical courier. That is someone who delivers blood specimen, urine specimen, tissue, organs if that's the requirement, and you'll need special certification, um, medical equipment. There may be some other items, but for the most part, using your vehicle, it will be small medical equipment, even pharmaceuticals, and we'll get into that in a moment. But what do you need to get started? You need a vehicle, of course, your own vehicle with insurance. Your state's basic insurance will do. That's what I had. It worked just fine, unless the company says or the contract requires more. You're fine with your state basic requirements for insurance, okay? Which is what most of us have. You'll need to be able to pass a background check. No felonies in the last 7 to 10 years, unfortunately. Drug test for obvious reasons. You'll have to have a clean driver's license. And for the last 3 years, you cannot have a DUI or DWI, whichever way it is noted in your state. You can, they'll let a ticket or two go, you know what I mean? But it can't be something that is habitual, because for obvious reasons, they want to make sure that their product is getting from point A to point B. So they have to be able to rely on you, okay? So that is the basics, honestly, right there. What is a requirement is, and those are requirements, but what is on top, above and beyond, which is different, is your certifications like HIPAA. And HIPAA is a course, it's about 30 minutes. You take a little quiz at the end of it, you get a certification. That just shows you how to safeguard the information, because you will have patient information. And so it talks about how to safeguard what you can and cannot do with regards to that information that you will have. Okay, and then so that's the HIPAA, and then you need the bloodborne pathogens. That talks about how to handle, the blood specimen, the urine, what to do should you have, a spill, or how to store, etc. Again, it's like a 30-minute test. 30-minute video, and then there's a little test at the end. Maybe it's 10 questions, something like that. And you have to pass that. You'll get a certificate at the end of that you can download. And you can use that when you apply for jobs. That'll give you a leg above others that don't have theirs yet. Like when I started looking, I didn't even know what medical courier was. And I didn't have my OSHA and bloodborne, my HIPAA and bloodborne. And but the company that I got hired to work with put me through the classes. So I got 4 certifications. I do not recall what the other ones were, and I think one had to do with like a hazmat, how to store that should you have that kind of stuff that you are hauling, but I never did. So your certifications are important, okay? And then obviously, you're responsible for the upkeep of your vehicle, for your gas. So you have to consider that comes off the top, when you're doing the math for your, what you make in a week, and, when you consider if there's any contracts that you're assigned. You have to consider all that. So those are the basics that you need to get started. It's not difficult to get started in this field. The difficult part is finding the job, finding the contract. Okay, there's many different ways that this job works that people keep combining, and it shouldn't be combined. So there's either you work for a company who does like stat on demand type deliveries. So for instance, the company I worked for, they when I started working, I downloaded their app, their company app, and dispatch would send me jobs based on how they were coming in. So those are the on demand. So I never knew what I was going to do, right? It wasn't a route. Although I did end up getting a Sunday route, which I loved, but for the most part, most of it is on demand. And I made anywhere between $800 and $1,300 a week. I'm not kidding. And I honestly did not work 40 hours. The beauty about this job is you can take time off to go to see your kid's recital, his game, blah, blah, blah. And then you can come back and get back to work if you want. You know what I mean? Because it's that flexible when you work for a company. If you have a route, there's no way you could do that. Okay? So I want you to understand the difference. The difference in a contract where you are required from 8 to 4, you are required to be on this route. You're required to be delivering whatever it is you're delivering. You have to make sure you look at the requirements. The company that I worked for, and most companies that hire you because they have contracts, has a little more flexibility. But when you get a contract, there are rules attached to that. It's not just do it when you want, because if they're expecting the delivery by 12, well, you better have the delivery there by 12 or you will not see another contract. You know what I mean? So there are a lot of differences that people do not discuss. There's apps, of course, that you can use like Roadie. Some of them have wait lists. So there's a lot of variables in this. You have to understand the differences. There's the TWIC card and the TSA card. Those two are critical if you want to pick up loads from the airport or from ports. If you live near a port, if you're near water, most of the coastal towns, have barges that come in with goods that you can bid on, and you can do that with those cards. Now, I have videos that talk about all of this, the TWIC card, the TSA card, how to find the job, how to find contracts. I have videos on my YouTube channel that outline all of that information so that you can get started right away. It is up to you when you decide you want to get started. You have to have everything in place. Make sure you can pass that drug test, and get everything started, get organized, and follow up with them. If you've applied to a company, like let's say you apply to ABC company, make sure you give them a follow-up call if you can. Make sure that you have the flexibility to work weekends, and because most of the time your better money is if you work weekends. You will make more money. I didn't mind working weekends at all because I love having days off during the week to do, run errands and stuff like that. So make sure that you have flexibility. And remember that this job as a medical courier is something that is will always be around unless they find a way, because you're picking up from labs, doctors' offices that cannot process the specimens that they're getting from their patients, right? So you're going to pick them up and you're going to take them to the hospital where the lab is, or to an independent lab, so for them to get processed. That's where you come in, you know. So, and then there are times when you will also pick up pharmaceuticals, which are meds, and you deliver those to people's homes, to residential areas, which I didn't do a lot of, and I really didn't like that too much. I prefer business to business. It was so much easier. Parking is so much easier. You know, you don't have to worry about gated communities or people being home or not, you know, and you have to make sure that you can leave it at the door, take a picture of it, you know, kind of like Amazon does. Take a picture of it when they leave it at your door as proof that it was delivered. You know, you can put it in between doors, the screen door and the main door, or whatever. There's a lot of different things that the company will teach you. The company will teach you. But your basics are your vehicle insurance, background check, drug test, and your motor vehicle report. So your license should be clean. Most companies will hire 18 and up, but you have to check, because a lot of times it's 21 and up. You don't have to have experience. I had 0 experience, as long as you know how to drive a vehicle. I don't recommend renting. It just doesn't make sense, because that's part of your, you know, your profit. I mean, I don't know how much it costs to rent a car, but it's got to be between 30 and 50 a day. And then the insurance, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense at all to do that. So the vehicle should be in your name, or at least, you know, if it's in like husband and wife, that's fine. But as long as you know you have coverage. So that's pretty much the basics. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have tried. I do have videos that show you how to search for the job, okay? And contracts. And you can search on my YouTube channel, and you'll see the videos there. Take a look. Let me know if you have any questions, or if I can help you in any way. I hope this video has helped, okay? With the basics. So I'll talk to you soon. Leave me a message, a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll talk to you soon.